Good afternoon. I am State Attorney Amira Fox. Thank you for joining us here today. We have an important announcement from the Southwest Florida Interagency Child Exploitation and Persons Trafficking Task Force, known as Intercept. I am joined here today by Assistant State Attorney Francine Donnarumma, who is the Chief of our Special Victims Unit, Assistant State Attorney Jessica Horowitz of our Economic Crime Unit, Tony Farah, who is an investigator with our office. We also have Supervisory Special Agent in Charge John Yancey from Homeland Security Investigations, Fort Myers Police Chief Jason Fields, Assistant Special Agent in Charge Tracy Maurer from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Captain Mike Rowan with the Hendry County Sheriff's Office, Lee County Port Authority Police Chief Bob Taylor, Lee County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Kristen Calhoun, Collier County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Natalie Brace, Alina Donahue with Operation Lightshine, and Alvin Vincent with ICE. As you can see, we have a great team up here, and we're here to announce the latest result of this partnership of local, state, and federal partners in our Intercept Task Force. These are the results of a 2-year-long investigation, the longest Intercept investigation we have had so far, called Operation Red Light, involving prostitution at brothels in Lee County. Within the last couple of days, Intercept simultaneously executed 8 search warrants on 4 residential locations and 4 business locations. Today, 10 people are in custody for their involvement with brothels in Fort Myers and Cape Coral. The charges vary, but they include RICO, meaning racketeering and conspiracy charges, living off the earnings of a prostitute, maintaining a structure for prostitution, and money laundering. The defendants arrested over approximately the last 36 hours were advertising sexual services online and running brothels throughout storefronts in Lee County. These brothels were hidden in plain sight in areas among other businesses, but with no signage. These illegal businesses were committing multiple crimes near ordinary businesses, including one brothel that was just feet away from a children's daycare. We made it our mission to arrest those responsible for this and shut down these houses of prostitution, and we were successful. It is important to let you know that this operation started with information and tips provided to law enforcement about brothels operating in Lee County, and Intercept immediately began their work to investigate. The success of this operation, as you can see up here, and these arrests would not have been possible without the unique partnership that is Intercept and what Intercept allows us to do together, bringing together a multi-agency response to crimes involving sexual exploitation, racketeering, money laundering, and criminal enterprises. To tell you about the magnitude of this investigation, I'd like to bring up first Homeland Security Investigations Supervisory Special Agent in Charge, John Yancey, who will now talk to you about that. John, I'll switch places with you.
Thank you, State Attorney Fox. Again, my name is John Yancey with Homeland Security Investigations here in Southwest Florida. Homeland Security Investigations is the investigative branch of the Department of Homeland Security. We have a very wide range of crimes that we investigate, but none are more important than the crimes that were committed during this case. When you're talking about human exploitation, potentially human trafficking, organized crime, racketeering, money laundering, everything that's involved here, they're a detriment to our community and they're our highest priority for our agency. And one of the only ways that we can be successful as a federal agency is to be a partner with the agencies that you see represented here today, with our state and local partners. And the Intercept Task Force is a perfect example of how that partnership can work as well as it does. Intercept was conceptualized by an organization called Operation Lightshine, and the idea behind it is they recognize the deficiency that law enforcement and that government in general has to fight this type of crime, any type of human exploitation, child exploitation, human trafficking, anything like that. Those crimes are very difficult and they're very long to work. They require a lot of resources and personnel. And the Intercept Task Force helps bridge that gap for law enforcement. And Operation Lightshine provides funding for salary reimbursement, vehicles for some of the detectives that work these cases, and they also provide us with cutting-edge technology, which is really one of the biggest needs that we have and that the federal government is always sort of a step behind. So that's the concept behind Intercept, is to provide us with those tools so that we can be effective, rescuing as many victims as possible and prosecuting as many bad guys that are involved with this. Like State Attorney Fox said, this is a crime that's hidden in plain sight. There are people, raising their children in houses right next door where this type of activity is happening. Again, this is organized crime. You've got transnational criminal organizations that are bringing people from outside the country, a lot of times smuggling them into the United States illegally. 2 of the people that we arrested yesterday were in the country illegally. They'll be prosecuted for their criminal charges and then ultimately face deportation from the United States. And the other thing that HSI is proud to do in these type of cases is we have representatives in each of those countries. A lot of these girls, or in other cases from crimes like this, girls are recruited from countries that are impoverished, like South Central America, some countries in the Caribbean. We have representatives that work in each of those countries. So we'll take the information that we gain from this case and we'll send it to our folks who work in those other countries, and we'll continue to go after the criminal organizations that are there. The idea is to, again, arrest as many of those bad guys as we can possibly put hands on, but also stop them from recruiting and victimizing future children. That's a huge priority for us, and I can't tell you how proud we are of the success of this case and the success of this Intercept Task Force that you see represented here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. We so appreciate your partnership in so many things, and it really shows the partnership that local and state agencies can have with federal agencies and the things that can be done. Now I'd like to welcome up FDLE Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Tracy Maurer, to talk about FDLE's very important role in the success of this operation, including the extensive financial analysis that they assisted with. Tracy?
Thank you. This was a complex investigation, but the outcome is simple. Criminals were identified, an organization was dismantled, and those responsible will be held accountable. Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. I'm Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Tracy Maurer, with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. This operation was the result of a strong collaboration between local, state, and federal law enforcement partners. This is what a successful collaboration looks like. And I want to thank State Attorney Amira Fox for her commitment to partnerships and protecting our communities. I also want to take a moment to recognize the dedicated FDLE members that contributed to this operation. Our special agents, analysts, and crime scene units provided their expertise with dedication and professionalism. As State Attorney Fox said, FDLE played a tremendous role in the financial analysis related to this case. And what that takes is a tremendous commitment. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of records, countless hours, not just obtaining the records, organizing the records, analyzing the records, making sense of the records, and then putting them in a prosecutorial format. And we're not just talking for 1, 2, or 3 people. We're talking about an organization, a racketeering, influence, corrupt organization. So it is a tremendous amount of work that we're very proud of our analysts at FDLE. I want to thank you all for our partnerships we share, and know that FDLE stands ready to support you in pursuing justice and ensuring public safety. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we very much appreciate also the partnership with FDLE, an excellent state partnership. And for an excellent local partnership, I'm going to bring up next our Fort Myers Police Chief, Jason Fields, to say a few words about FMPD's role in this investigation. Jason?
Let me start off by saying you just can't help but appreciate and recognize what a force multiplier we become when law enforcement agencies and prosecution agencies get together at every level. And we can go after the worst of the worst out there and hold those accountable that prey on some of our most vulnerable populations. But today we want to especially recognize the successful execution of multiple simultaneous search warrants across our region. 3 of those warrants were carried out within the city of Fort Myers at commercial properties operating under the guise of legitimate services. But they were identified through a lengthy and thorough investigation as locations involved in the solicitation, of illegal activities. First, I'd like to acknowledge the outstanding work of the FMPD's specialized units. Some of those units included our intelligence unit, SWAT team, various detectives, our group violence intervention team, and our juvenile delinquency and addiction team. Their efforts in intelligence gathering, investigative support, surveillance, and operational planning were critical to the success of this operation. I also want to recognize and emphasize once again our local, state, and federal partners, including Homeland Security, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, our incredible state attorney's office led by Amira Fox, and other law enforcement partners who contributed to this effort. Their collaboration and support were essential throughout every phase of this investigation. Our teams worked together to ensure the safe and effective execution of these search warrants from start to finish. This case reflects the strength of our partnerships and the impact of unified enforcement in addressing criminal activity and protecting our communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason. And another wonderful local partner we have is the Hendry County Sheriff's Office. And I'd like to bring up Captain Mike Rowan from the Hendry County Sheriff's Office to say a few words about their role in this investigation. Mike?
Good afternoon. I am Michael Rowan with the Hendry County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division. I'm here to speak on behalf of Sheriff Whidden today, who was unfortunately unable to make it due to prior commitments that could not be rescheduled. Sheriff Whidden, however, wanted the community and these agencies to know that he is honored to be a member of this multi-agency intercept task force and working with the men and women of these great agencies here. Sheriff Whidden wanted me to personally relay his congratulations to all the men and women and the members of the Intercept Task Force for Operation Red Light, for their commitment and their diligence on this large-scale operation against the crimes of public decency that corrupt the morals and the values of our community. Sheriff Whidden is fully supportive and committed to work the investigations or help send troops to help work these investigations in the future with the Intercept. And in final remarks, Sheriff Whidden wanted to encourage the Intercept Task Force to continue their diligence in these types of investigations to rid our streets and our communities of these unwanted individuals and their crimes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. Now we also have with us today Alina Donahue from Operation Lightshine, and I just want to personally say that Operation Lightshine is a tremendous part of the success. They provide funding, they provide all sorts of things. Some of the people you see standing up here, their salaries are paid by Operation Lightshine to add an extra layer of investigators to the community, and we were so proud to be chosen as the third site in the United States for an Intercept task force. So we really appreciate their great partnership with us, and I'm going to bring Alina up to say a few words about it.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alina Donahue. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships over at Operation Lightshine. What took place yesterday is a reminder that this issue is not distant, and it is not rare. It is happening right here in our communities and across Southwest Florida. Operations like Operation Red Light are only possible when agencies come together, share information, and have the tools and resources to act quickly. At Operation Lightshine, we are proud to support these efforts by providing funding, technology, and resources that help law enforcement move faster, identify victims sooner, and build stronger cases. Through partnerships like the Southwest Florida Intercept Task Force, agencies can work together more effectively and increase collective impact. Operations like this are the result of years of work, cases built step by step, and people who are now being identified and protected, while those responsible will be held accountable. That's why this work matters. And for the families watching this at home, this matters to you. These are people in the communities just like yours. This is happening closer than most people realize. At our core, Operation Lightshine exists to stand behind law enforcement and ensure that they have what they need to do this work at the highest level. Because the reality is, this fight is not over. This crime type is not a distant problem. It is happening here, and it requires continued collaboration, resources, and action. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina, very much. And again, thank you for your huge support you give us in this area for this. I want to tell you all a little bit about the success of Intercept as we wrap this up today. This was a very complex investigation that required a tremendous amount of complicated logistics, and this team is who worked on that. In 2025 alone, the Intercept Task Force reviewed 98 million electronic files, conducted more than 2,700 investigations, and seized nearly 500,000 electronic files depicting the sexual abuse of minors. The arrests made in the recent hours have shut down houses of prostitution operating in Southwest Florida. By targeting organized commercial sex and its network and its financial infrastructure, we disrupt the revenue streams, the customer access and base, and the safe havens for criminals that would otherwise have been in further escalation. Yesterday and today's coordinated action sends a clear message that Southwest Florida is not a friendly or permissive environment for organized commercial sex or related exploitation, and that properties and businesses used for these purposes will be identified and shut down. Again, I want to thank everybody up here. I want to thank my team, our two prosecutors, Francine Donnarumma and Jessica Horowitz, who will be handling the prosecution on these cases, and our investigator, Tony Farah, who has been involved since day one on this task force and this investigation and worked very hard on it. Operation Red Light demonstrates we will not stop when it comes to ending sexual exploitation, organized sex networks, and criminal enterprises. We will be watching you. Thank you.